What's up, guys? Pypo here, bringing you a video today of me wearing my headset for no reason. I always realize that when I record, I don't use audio. I don't use it, and then I realize when I'm talking, I can barely hear my own voice. I'm like, why can't I? Oh, my headphones are on. I forget. Is that a weird? Do you guys ever forget? I do this fucking thing sometimes where I stand up and go to walk away from my PC, and it's a fucking nightmare because I've somehow forgotten that, hey, Pips, you're wearing your headset, and then my cord's like ripping off. My headset's on the ground, like getting kicked across the floor and shit. It's like it's the roughest thing in the world. Oh, disengage! It's the roughest thing in the world because I have to deal with like this weird, what the fuck just happened? Oh, my headset's still on situation. That's just it's rough. It's rough as fuck, and I should be past the stage of forgetting that I'm wearing a headset. Like I bubbled and so a lot. It's rough. But what I do want to talk about in this video today is something that a lot of people experience. Some people would call it anxiety, but I guess it's just nervousness in my part, and I want to talk about it today because I've been experiencing a bunch of nervousness recently due to my life that I've been doing. A lot of you would be aware that I've been trying to apply for a few jobs, and that would naturally result in me doing a few interviews. And I'm not a good like you might think like, Pips, why would you can talk on a video for like the longest time, no problem. Why? How could you not be good at an interview? It's pretty much the same thing. You just go and you talk, you answer questions, whatever. And honestly, I'm not bad at it. I'm not bad, and especially if I'm feeling comfortable and stuff like that. But the space between like the start of an interview and like the lead up to an interview makes me frightened. I get nervous, man. Like today, for instance, I went to go for an interview down a couple streets from me. It's not that far away. The place is pretty close, so naturally I want to get it because it's close as fuck. I would love to work like really close to where I fucking live. It'd be awesome. But I walked down there, and I'm 30 minutes early. Naturally, I'm always early for shit, especially interviews and stuff like that. I want to be there 10 to 15 minutes early anyway, but I naturally am like, man, I can't show up 30 minutes early. That's fucking ridiculous. Like the dude's gonna be busy. He's not gonna want to interview me fucking 30 minutes early. So what am I shooting? What is happening here? So naturally, I'm like, well, fuck this. I'll just kind of chill outside for another 15 minutes. You know, that's no problem, right? I can do that. That 15 minutes was nerve-wracking. Like, the walk down, I was fine. I was, like, not really feeling it. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna nail this interview. I have experience in what I was applying for. I was pretty confident in my fucking application. I'm like, I'm probably gonna get this job. I'm pretty confident about it. And I'd done an interview for the exact same job before and gotten the job. So I was like, man, I'm probably gonna do fine. So I wasn't nervous on the way down. But when I got there and I'm like waiting outside, I got nervous. I got really like genuinely like shaky nervous. And it's like a surprise to me because I was sitting there like on this like brick wall or some shit like around the corner from the store. And I'm like, God, I'm fucking shaking right now. Like why am I shaking? What? And then I realized that I have that like feeling in my stomach of impending doom kind of feeling, and you're like, man, I'm really not feeling this right now. And that continued for the next 15 minutes until I walked inside, and I was like, I finally like asked for the guy, because I asked for the guy's name, I know who's interviewing me, and they call him to the front and stuff like that. Once I did that and I was inside talking to other people, I immediately was calm again. I immediately like clammed down, was absolutely fine, and it's like, man, thank fucking Christ that I'm like decent at like. Even if I'm like nervous, I can still bullshit my way through looking confident. I've told people in the past that I'm a confident person, and in that moment been bullshitting. I remember, even to this day, Suki probably thinks of me as like the most confident person she's ever met. Like she probably, because I put forward the facade of being extremely confident. I do it well. I do it really well, where I'm like pretending to be extremely confident. But like she used to ask me like, are you like nervous, or were you nervous when you first met me? And for you guys out there that have just like met a girl, or like were getting into a relationship or something like that, there's probably a time where you first met them, or you went to ask them out, or something happened where you felt that fucking impending doom feeling. It's like a fear of rejection / you're not good enough feeling. Like it's getting pretty deep, but that's the feeling that you feel like, oh god, this is not. Why don't I just go home and eat a fucking bucket of chicken or something and just forget about this, because this is gonna be a notch under the Pip's belt of doom that I don't want to be there. And you get that feeling, man. You get that feeling of just you want to do it obviously because you're fucking trying to get the guts to do it, but you're like, oh fuck, man, this is rough city. And then, yeah, on top of that, you know, like, in your mind, girls dig confidence, man. Girls, like, be confident. You're telling yourself, be fucking confident, while at the same time, you're feeling, like, this impending doom feeling in your stomach, like you're gonna fucking vomit any second, and you're like, God, how am I supposed to fucking appear confident when I feel like I'm about to fall to pieces? It's rough. It's really rough. But, you know, I'm pretty good at it. I fucking fake the confidence, and I ask them out. Like, for instance, I asked Suki out, or, like, the first time I ever met Suki, I met Suki at a train station. Because she actually came out and met me because I wasn't used to the city. Came out and met me at a train station and took me back to like where she lived. But that involved like meeting her and finding her at a train station. I still remember the first time I ever saw her. Again, it was like the feeling of looking for her. I wasn't nervous. The moment I saw her and realized like it's almost like, oh, it's time to perform. Like it's time to you like this girl. You gotta make her like you kind of thing. When that happens, it's like immediate nerves. First time I ever saw her. I don't even think I've ever told her that. I don't think she actually knows that I fucking immediately felt a giant amount of like fear and like just because I liked her so much, I was scared that she wouldn't like me, I guess, and just nerves, immediate nerves of doom, and just roughness, general roughness. And I honestly for the longest time thought I wasn't like a nervous person. I thought, you know, I'm confident, and it's because I never really was in a situation to get nervous. I guess, like, because of that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm confident, like, I can deal with situations and shit. And then you get in situations where, like, it's that kind of thing, where you're meeting a girl for the first time, where you're going for a job interview, and it's the complete, like, holy, like, why the fuck am I so nervous? And then I started remembering, like, old stuff I did in high school, where, I'm pretty sure everyone's done this, right? I don't know about you, but in my English teacher in high school used to make us get up in front of the class and read things. And I remember shaking. And I legitimately think I almost pissed my pants. I think I almost pissed my pants for a little bit there. When I would go up in front of the class and be like, hey, my name's Pips, and I'm gonna read the, and I would just, it would, oh, man, I would lose it. And the fucked up thing is, everyone in the class I know, like on a personal level, I go to school with these people, I'm friends with most of them. Some of them don't like me and probably hated me, but it's like, I know these people. If I was sitting in my chair and did the same thing, like just spoke, it would be no problem. But the act of like standing in front of them and like their attention is on you, like the teacher's forcing their attention on you, it's like all of a sudden you're fucking like shaking and shit. And I'm like, I remember seeing the paper in my hand shake because my hands were shaking underneath the paper. And I was like, then you get paranoid, like, can they see me shaking right now? You get paranoid about the shaking. Like, instead of focusing on, like, just trying to get through it or not shaking, I'm thinking, like, fuck, can they see me shaking? Do they realize that I'm having a breakdown up here? Is this a thing that I'm not going to be able to, like, live down? And it's a thing that everyone goes through. And I think a lot of people that are good at public speaking probably don't start off good. They don't start off good at that shit. They, like, just do it enough times to feel comfortable, right? I mean, even now, I feel like I get up in front of a class or in front of a group of people and do it no problem. But if it was the first time I did it, I would absolutely be shaking in fear. I would hate it. I'd absolutely hate it. And I got the same thing from the fucking job interviews, from meeting Suki for the first time. I just felt like, and as a kid, I did not have that like fake confidence down. I did not. I mean, I'm not a good liar in any way. I'm not good at lying, but I am good at like, I guess bullshitting. I don't want to say bullshitting because it makes me sound like a fake person, but I'm good at like faking it until I make it, I guess is the way I would describe it. I'm good at like pretending to know my shit and then like at least being able to then go and find out about the actual shit that I'm trying to bullshit about and like making it seem like I always knew what the fuck I was talking about or something. Like I'm good at that, but if someone like, if I need to lie to someone's face, I'm horrible at it. I'm just not good at like seeming convincing, I guess, when it's like a straightforward, like if someone said, hey, did you do this? And I have to be like, no. Like if it's just a straight up lie like that, I'm terrible at it. I'm not good at it. Sometimes Suki thinks I'm lying about shit, and it's like, how do you think I'm lying about? Like I'm absolutely not lying. I'm a terrible liar. You know if I was lying. But that's just, I think people think I'm lying all the time because I'm very like, I'm blasé-ish. Like I just assume that you believe me. Is that weird? Is that a weird like trait to have, that where like I assume everyone else believes I'm telling the truth? Like even though like it might be something that's like a bit like the answer might seem like a lie, or it might be a situation where it's like that seems not very logical, but if I'm saying it, I'm like, oh, I'm telling the truth, so they'll believe me. Like I guess it's just the way I was brought up, to where like people believe that what you say is the truth, so naturally just tell the truth and you're fine. I was brought up like that, And so I just naturally always tell the truth. And when someone doesn't believe me, I'm like, what? You don't believe me? Like, why would I? Lying isn't even a thing that I can, like, physically do. It's weird. It makes you feel weird when I lie. Like, it's just... I like how I said it makes you feel weird when I lie. For some reason, someone across the world watching a Pips video is like, did Pips just lie? Ugh. Ugh. God, it's yuck. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this today to see if you guys have any issues with fucking nervousness, or anxiety, I guess, would be another kind of extreme nervousness. I've never really had anxiety to the point of, like, I feel anxious. I've never really had that really anxious feeling. I've had people explain it to me, and it sounds horrible. It sounds absolutely horrible. And I've had situations where it's a bit of a personal situation that I kind of don't want to get too deep into, but the last time I talked to my father, after I talked to him, I got anxious. And that's the only time I've ever really been anxious. Because I was like, it wasn't even anxious of, like, something's about to happen. It was more anxious of, like, shit that just happened kind of thing. I was like, holy, like, oh god. Like, I got really anxious and, like, worried and just really deep inside myself. It was like nervousness, but, like, times a billion. And I haven't actually felt that since. That guy just flew off the fucking Proto-Drake. Use your wings, buddy. Jesus, you are in space. That's... And there goes a... Oh, I should be using my explosive trap. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it was just... It was a rough time waiting outside that fucking interview place, man. I started pacing. And I don't know that I've ever paced before in my life, but it's like, I have 15 minutes to burn. I'm listening to a podcast. You know, I completely am like just, oh, you know, I'll be fine. But it's just the same situation where it's like, I see myself shaking. I think it's the same thing as, like, when you're injured and you don't realize, like, you don't feel the pain until you see the injury. I've done that a few times. For instance, when I cut my, like, a part of my finger off doing my butcher apprenticeship, but I never fucking finished. I cut a bit of my finger off cutting parsley. And when I did that, I didn't, like, I knew I cut it off. But as I did it, there was a customer that came to, like, the counter and wanted to be served, so I was like, oh, you know, I'll go serve this customer. Like, in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go do my job. Like, that's just what I thought. So I went to serve the customer, and then I was like, why is there blood, like, everywhere? Why is there blood just all over everything? And it got to the point where I was like, oh shit, I need to ask my manager who was there to serve this customer so I can go see what the fuck's going on. And I go out the back, and I'm like, shit, a part of my finger's missing. And at that moment when I was like, shit, a part of my finger, that's when it started hurting. I don't know if it's because, like, I went into shock or something, but it was legitimately like, I looked at the injury and was like, oh, now it's hurting me. Now I realize that it's there, it's hurting me. And I almost feel like my nervousness is the same as that. Like, it's like, oh shit. I almost feel like my nervousness, I had my hand off the fucking keyboard, I couldn't disengage. I didn't realize I was nervous until I saw myself shaking. I was like, oh fuck, am I shaking right now? God damn! I need to clam the fuck down with this shaking business, because I am not in a good way right now, and it was just really rough. This guy should really kill me, because I was low health. I was way low health before him. He got a deterrence, so I do not have a deterrence, unfortunately. Unfortunately, Pips does not have a deterrent, so I'm going to try and line of sight, or at least range him right here. Run into a... There's a healer right there. Perfect. Perfect timing, Mr. Healer. I love you for that. So yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, if you are a nervous person, what kind of situations you've been in that made you nervous? Or, like, have you, like, tried to pick up a girl? Or if you're a girl, have you ever got, like, maybe picked up by a guy, or even tried to pick up a guy and got nervous from it? I actually had a story, a really old friend of mine that I haven't talked to since 1993. She told me that she almost wet herself because she had a guy with him that she really wanted. She wanted him to ask her out. It was in high school. She was fucking weird, but she went and met this guy at his house and was like really nervous for some reason. Like she thought like, oh, he's gonna ask me out. He's gonna make me his girlfriend. Blah blah blah. But he just wouldn't do it, and like throughout the night, she just got progressively like more nervous, expecting it to happen. I don't think it ever happened. She was expecting it, and he was just like, just invited her over, and nothing happens. And it's like, it's nervousness is so weird. It's like such a weird social thing to have. Like if you weren't, oh shit, what the fuck? I just got B-res. Oh yeah. It's such a weird like in like nature. Would you ever get nervous? I guess when you were like about to fight a bull or some shit. A blade storm. I don't know why you're fighting bulls, okay? I don't know why it's a thing that's naturally happened in the wild, or you're fighting bulls and shit. But that seems to be a situation where like being nervous is actually probably a good thing. Like heightens your senses. You're like get adrenaline rush. You're like you're ready. It's like you're preparing for something. You're like you're getting ready. But for some people, nervousness is absolutely not that. Like, it's, you start shaking and you can't deal, you can't speak, you can't perform in that situation. And some people get locked up. Like, they lock the fuck up and can't, like, fathom or think or do anything in that nervous state. And it's like, dude, it's a really rough time. It's like, it's a lot of people have, like, I think, social nervousness. And it's just, I would hate to be that kind of person where you're absolutely socially nervous. Like, because I know a few people, or knew of a few people that were like that. And it was hard for them just to function, like, in daily life. Like, they try to go to school or do life shit, and then, like, the teacher asks them to speak out in class, and it's like, you're fucked. You're fucked because all of a sudden this fucking safety bubble is broken, and you're being forced to, like, communicate with your peers that you fucking can't deal with this social, like, forced situation that you're being, like, forced to fucking partake in. And the people just can't deal with that shit. I don't have, like, anything that rough. I definitely don't have anything that rough. But I do get, like, really weird, like, prior nervousness. I don't know what the word for it is. Because I only get it, like, before things. I never get it during. I'm usually, like, for instance, when I met Suki, once I talked to her a little bit and, like, held her hand, I was fine. I was absolutely fine. And I kind of, like, immediately got comfortable. But the beforehand part, I'm, like, so fucking frightened. It's like, I almost do things to get rid, like, I remember, like, grabbing Suki's hand and holding it. And I almost did it because I was like, I need you to, like, I need to be comfortable right now. I need to stop being nervous. So I just, like, remember grabbing your hand and being like, okay, this is good. She's holding my hand back. I can move forward now. But, like, before that, I was shitting my pants, man. I was so scared. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day with you. I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.